Welcome to Season 4 of Your Next Mission video podcast. We have a great show for you today that focuses on continue to serve after leaving the military. Colonel Retired Lee Kirby of Salute Mission Critical joins us to talk about how he took his heart for service and gave back. He's doing that by giving our military service members an opportunity to work in the data center industry. He also tells us how Salute Mission Critical provides that bridge for those transitioning to feel that community of brotherhood that they felt in the military. You won't want to miss it. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Your Next Mission video podcast, where we tell the stories of those who have served in the past and those who are serving today. From transition to financial wellness, VA benefits to mental health, we cover issues facing veterans, active military, and their families. Now here's your host, the 12th Sergeant Major of the Army and co-founder of the American Freedom Foundation, Jack L. Tilley.
Hello out there, warriors past and present, your families, and thank you for your service to our great country. Now, before we get started, I personally want to thank our presenting sponsors, Navy Federal Credit Union and Purdue University Global, for making Your Next Mission happen. They love our veterans and families. I'm going to say it every week. We love them too. As I said earlier, we have a great show for you today, focusing on helping veterans and families continue to serve in the corporate world after leaving the military. And I'm so excited to introduce Colonel Retired Lee Kirby, co-founder and chairman of Salute Mission Critical, a global data center management company that brings strategic military precision to their mission. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sergeant Major. I'm honored to be here.
I'm honored to have you on here. Sir, before we get into all the stuff we want to talk about with you, could you tell the audience just a little bit about yourself? Now, I know you want to tell all that 25 years. No, never mind. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, I grew up in the hills of Tennessee, a great farm life, and joined the military in '76 and did my enlistment, got out and went in the reserves and got my commission in '82. Ended up with the Haiti mission in the mid-'90s, and then after 9/11 had 6 more deployments. So I had a half and half reserve active duty career, about 10 and a half active, and the rest was reserve. So a total of 36. Started out as an E1, ended up as an 06, and never knew it'd go that far.
Well, I did pretty good. I started as an E1 and ended up as a pretty good job in the military, but that's something else. Sir, the work you're doing with Salute Mission Critical is incredible. I got to tell you that. Would you tell us a little bit about your organization and you know how it got started and the mission of your organization?
You bet. Salute Mission Critical started just a little over 10 years ago, and I wanted to do something to continue serving. And me and a friend, Jason Okroy, started the company to be that bridge, because in our industry, there's a personnel shortage, there's a shortage of disciplined talent, and the military is a great means to fill those slots. So we knew we could set the training programs in place, hire veterans, get them into positions, and they would be able to start their careers in the military. And that's why we started Salute. We picked the hands-on services because we wanted to serve the prior enlisted community, because in 2012, if you'd done one term and you'd gotten out, you'd probably done a couple tours to the desert, 25% chance you were unemployed. And that didn't make any sense to me. It was 3 times what their comrades that had stayed back were experiencing. So we wanted to fix the unemployment problem with veterans and the lack of personnel in our industry, and thought that those two coming together could be a great solution.
Yeah. What makes Solution Mission Critical different than other companies who focus on hiring veterans? What makes your company even different than a lot of those other great organizations out there?
We based a lot of our processes and procedures on a blend of best practices from the military and civilian. We've got all of our command and control situations are set up with military people filling the positions, and the doctrine is down. We set our training program up very much to get people hands-on training as quickly as possible, not sitting in an academic classroom, but taking an E4, E5 and getting them in where they can learn how to work it very quickly, and they'll have mentors along the way. And we go by the motto of watch one, do one, teach one. And by the time you've taught somebody how to do something, you've mastered it and you can be functional. And that helps get them started on their way. And it's a never ending process, because in our industry, as soon as you think you know everything, the technology changes and you got to learn more. And that's why it's perfect for veterans. If you think about, we went to basic AIT and we were different people in 12 weeks. Veterans know how to transform, and military spouses do too. And that's why we focus on military spouses as well.
Yeah, so you took everything that you've learned in the military, the precision of working in the military, and you put it in your organization. That's how you function and work every day. Do you have do you have squad leaders and team leaders and company commanders and all that stuff in there too?
We do. We call them something different.
No, you don't. Do you really? What do you call them?
They're teams. Well, I think squad leaders is still used, but there's team leaders and there's project managers, project directors. We've got operations managers, regional managers. There's all layers of management, because on a people-based business like ours, you have to have good command and control and communications. And we're spread out all over the U.S. and actually in 11 countries.
Well, I was going to ask you that question later, but how many people do you have in your company? You said you're spread out all over the U.S. Where are you located at?
In 10 years, we've grown to over 1,000 people, and we think we'll have over 1,300 by the end of the year, because we've got a great solution. We execute with military precision, just like our marketing says, because all of our training and all of our operations are based on that military doctrine, and nobody trains and deploys better than the U.S. military. So we focused on that. We're in 11 countries, U.S., Canada, a couple countries in South America, and the rest in Europe. And it's pretty exciting. We've got 14 different countries' militaries in our ranks.
Yeah. Do you have, now you retired as a full colonel, correct? That's what you told me? Yeah. Okay. So do you have a lot of officers or a lot of enlisted guys and gals working in your organization? Or what's the mix there?
2 officers, everybody else.
Smart guy. Okay.
I needed people that like getting their hands dirty, and I started out enlisted, so my heart's with the enlisted.
I got you. So is it 100% military ran? I mean, do you have 100%? I'm sure you have a few civilians in there.
We've got civilians in there. We need subject matter expertise to start at the company, and we've also got civilians that are just great performers. So it varies by country. In the U.S., we've got our largest concentration, and that'll vary between 75 to 85%. And then in other countries, it varies just because there's not as large a military there. So it's country by country. But the U.S. is our largest concentration of resources.
Yeah. Do you have a lot of retirees that work with you? Or just have a lot of people that have, spent 4, 5, 6 years in the military and came to your organization?
We've been using the Skill Bridge program to get E8s and E9s that are retiring, and they really are the backbone of our organization and really run the processes and the operations. And we've got the E4s and E5s that have gotten out, and they've trained and are moving up through the ranks. We've got a ton of success stories of people overcoming, coming up in bad areas of town and getting into the military, and then finding the job with Salute and moving their career along, and just overcoming all the obstacles because they're given a chance.
Yeah. The next question I'm going to ask you probably think I'm crazy for asking, but why is the military community so perfect to hire for your industry? Why are they so perfect?
It's every soldier knows how to maintain their equipment. People think about the infantry and they send them down a security services route, but an infantryman makes a great data center technician because they take their PMCS procedures, they follow them to maintain their vehicle, their equipment, their weapon systems, their comms gear. All I have to do is teach them new equipment. They already know to follow the procedures, because in a data center, you don't do anything without a procedure, because one little hiccup will bring a site down, and we're all about reliability.
Yeah. I think the other thing, when you hire a veteran, you got the trust, the confidence, the loyalty, the enthusiasm. I'm sure they all come to work. Maybe every once in a while you got one that doesn't come to work on time. But the majority of people, I'm sure, that work for your organization are probably pretty loyal and pretty dedicated to working with your company. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And the problem solving and the innovation that comes with them, the way veterans think is it's the mission, get it done. If there's something in the way, figure out how to get around it. We've got so many great stories of our veterans working in data centers for our clients and coming up with solutions that they've never even thought of, even though they have the engineering degrees. Our guys are prior enlisted, so they don't have engineering degrees. But with that innovative way of thinking and that problem solving, they can solve complex problems outside of the normal range of solutions.
Yeah, the really good thing about that, I used to tell people, everybody's got great ideas. You got to figure out how to get them to you. And if they got good ideas, they make sense, let's use them. Let's make sure that we make the organization better. I bet there's a lot of team building and stuff that you do with your organization. You do a lot of team building, bringing in the families and making sure everybody is involved with your organization.
Absolutely. And we've got a lot of husband, wives that work for us and brother, sisters. So there's a lot of family there. We're not against nepotism. We just don't have them in the same ranks. But the military, my son was in it, my daughter was in it. So we're all a family organization. And the one thing that we hear time and again with our employee surveys is a lot of people come to us after having had a couple kind of dead end jobs, and they feel that sense of belonging and higher purpose mission of setting an example of veterans in our industry to get even more veterans and military spouses here.
Yeah, I'm going to say one thing. I'm going to take a quick break, but it's in your DNA, and they all speak the same language, which is really neat. I mean, I've been talking to people that not saying anything bad about anybody, but I've talked to people that never served in the military, and you start talking about the military, and a lot of times because they feel a little bit uncomfortable, they may change the subject, may want to talk about something else. So you got a lot of people that have the same kind of thought process that are working all together. So, sir, this is a great discussion. Hold that thought. I got to do a little housework right here. I'll be right back. We're talking with Colonel Retired Lee Kirby, co-founder and chairman of Salute Mission Critical. That certainly loves our country and loves his company that he's working with his company. And you're watching Your Next Mission video podcast with me, your host, Jack L. Tilley, 12th Sergeant Major of the Army. And don't forget, if you're enjoying this discussion, if you're not, I'm telling you there's something wrong with you. Please like us. Click on that subscribe button below. And also click on the bell next to the subscribe button to receive notifications of all of our upcoming video podcasts. Sir, one of the biggest priorities of your foundation is taking care of military spouses. That's very important for Salute Mission Critical too, isn't it? I mean, it's for our organization really critical. How about for yours?
Absolutely. And we're proud that this year we made number 3 on the list of employers with the military friendly program for military spouse programs. And we look to bring the military spouses in so that as their spouse moves and gets PCS, they can move with their job. Because of all the locations we have, if they're a technician working on site on the West Coast, we've got customers on the East Coast. So you get that Pentagon tour, your spouse can go with you and have a job in one of our data centers there. But all of the remote jobs we have too, with project management and talent acquisition and such, they can work from anywhere. We've got a talent acquisition person in Pearl Harbor, and her husband is serving there at Schofield Barracks. We're all over the place with remote capabilities, and that helps them maintain a resume that can grow as a career, because by the time you've done a career, military spouse looks like a job hopper if you just look at the resume and don't realize what you're getting. What you're getting is someone that's highly adaptive, learns quickly, and will get the mission done just like their spouse. And that's why we see so much value in the military spouses and veterans.
Yeah. How many, you talked a little while ago about, what'd you call, I can't remember the name of it, called the program that you have.
Military friendly program.
Yeah. How many different installations are you in? Are you in just one location or several locations?
No, across the U.S., we're in more than 30 spots, and then we're outside of the U.S. in 11 countries, and we have actually done business or done projects in 105 countries. So we'll have clients that want us to deploy technology for them, and we've got Tiger teams that go out installing the technology, bringing it up and moving around. And that was especially important during COVID because so many borders were closed, and we understood how to work with governments, and our command center worked with them and got the guys moving across the lines and doing the technology upgrades for clients that needed it, because at that time there was a surge in internet use because everybody was at home. So it was a perfect storm that we were able to bring a solution to.
Yeah. Would you talk about the training you offer military community to help them transition, to their civilian career? I mean, I don't know about you, but it was really tough for me to transition. I don't know if I ever really, after 36 years, we both had the same, but it was hard for me to transition out of the military. And there was a lot of things that I had I wouldn't say make adjustments, but I had to figure out how to fit in, if that makes sense. Do you have a program like that, or?
It's always an adjustment process. And in addition to our training, we have a group inside the company, our workforce development group and our HR group, that help people when they're overcoming things that they're transitioning with, they're trying to get used to, or needing access to VA benefits. But the first thing we do when we hire you is you go through indoctrination training of why Salute, how we're different, what our values are, and go through safety training, because at the end of the day, we want everybody to go home safe. Then we start you on a graduated process of learning the technology. If you're going down the path of you're going to be maintaining chillers, or you're going to be doing electrical work or moving servers around, 3 different kind of paths. We give you that technology training and get you hooked up with a mentor so that you can start doing that, watch one, do one, teach one, and rise up very quickly. And we get people very productive very quickly because veterans and military spouses have learned over the years to absorb it quickly and put it to use. And putting it to use is what it's all about.
Yeah, it's really neat when you just talk. Well, other thing you said is really neat. When you talked about mentors, I was sitting here thinking about, do you guys actually counsel every 30 days or is it every 90 days? Do you do counseling sessions? I mean, you're in the military. That's what we try to do in the military, for sure.
And absolutely. And we've got sergeant majors are running these teams so they don't miss a beat.
Oh, is that all of they do actually do the counseling is it every 30 days or 90 days you're doing that?
I'm not sure what the period is, but I know they don't wait for the year. It might be 1 quarter, but it might be down to the month. But I know that on a regular weekly basis, the teams are getting together, they're getting their assignments, they're getting their coaching. And if there's any issues, they're being addressed, and we address things on the spot. So I think they're getting coaching on a much more frequent basis.
Oh yeah. One last question there. What about upward mobility? You know, you come into your organization, and in the military, if you're a Spec 4, there's always, you know, how do I become an E5 or a staff sergeant, sergeant first class? Do you have the same kind of upward mobility in your organization?
We do. We've defined job families and levels, and people, as they get to one level, then they know what they need to do to get to the next level, and they work with their supervisor and the training program to be able to get the training required, but then also the experience. And once they've got the training and the experience, the opportunity opens up. And we've got tons of success stories on our website of people joining us at the very lowest rank, doing cleaning in the data centers and understanding the importance of how important that function is, and then learning the next function and moving up through the ranks, doing more technical stuff to where they took on management and then director roles and VP roles. So we've got a great career path set up for anybody that really wants to get in and learn and grow.
Okay, first of all, I should have met you 10 years ago or something like that, because I'd have, put my application in and try to get a job. Sir, don't go anywhere. We're gonna take a quick break. We've got a lot more to talk about, so don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're watching Your Next Mission video podcast, proudly presented by Navy Federal Credit Union, the most trusted credit union owned by members of the military community, serving all branches of the armed forces and their families. Their members are the mission. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. Purdue Global, providing affordable online education for hardworking adults. Learn more about a personalized, innovative, and world-class education at PurdueGlobal.edu. Now back to your host, the 12th Sergeant Major of the Army, Jack L. Tilley.
Welcome back. We're blessed to be here today with Colonel Retired Lee Kirby, co-founder and chairman of Salute Mission Critical. And I want all of our viewers to reach out to him directly. Tell us about your transition. We're talking a lot of stuff or a lot of things about today with Colonel Kirby about transitioning. Tell us about your transition. Tell us what topics you'd like us to cover. I always tell people this is not my show, this is our show. So tell us what you want to talk about. You can call or text me at 844-424-1134, and I'll reach out to you. Or send me an email at smatilly@yournextmission.org. Sir, first of all, let me tell you this. I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed a lot of discussion I have, but this is really good. I like to talk to somebody that's really focused on helping our veterans and families like you are. And you're probably one of a kind, I'm sure. But we're heading to our final segment with you, Dan. I really hope you've enjoyed it just as much as I have. I just have a couple more questions. Would you talk to us about your work you're doing with your vision to address the unemployment and underemployment of, I think you already talked about it a little bit, but underemployment of our military community?
You bet. We're getting out there. And when we first started, the unemployment rate was not right. And they were being put into the system as unskilled, which that kind of pissed me off. There's no such thing as an unskilled veteran. They've got 4 years experience and training. So we wanted to do something about it, and we did. And then we started finding veterans that were moving furniture and making sandwiches or coffee, and well below what they wanted to do because they wanted a challenge and a job. And in our job, you come in and you learn, and then you continue to learn and you grow from that. And if you're a lifelong learner, like what I think is a key trait of a veteran and military spouse, this is a great industry for it. So we felt like as long as we can get out to the military community, let them know this opportunity, even if it's not Salute. In our industry as a whole, there's a ton of job openings, and there are companies that will help transition you from the military not many, I haven't met any in our industry that have an extensive training program like ours because we focused on it and that's how we built the company. But there's other great companies out there with the big names that you've heard of in the internet that have transition programs to get veterans into their ranks. So I think every veteran that's got a technical aspect to them and likes working with their hands or likes computers should be looking at this industry.
Yeah. How many of your employees do you know personally? I just, because I know, I'm just curious. I mean, I'm sure you get involved with a lot of people in your company. If they're scattered all over, maybe not so much. But do you know a lot of people that work with you?
The first 5 years, I knew everybody by name. About 5 to 7 years, it started dwindling off. I know a couple hundred, but I've got a core team that has been with me from the beginning, and I've got friends that we've got that, and I've got people in the community. Because the other thing about our company with companies like ours, they try to not have their people leave their company. We don't want them to leave, but if
Yeah.
the right opportunity comes, they take jobs with our clients and we backfill them. And then we have a friend on the inside of the fence and it works out. So we've now got friends, Salute alumni all throughout the industry, and that relationship just continues to grow. But I probably only know about a couple hundred folks personally in the company right now.
Yeah, I'm sure when you first got started, though, just like you just said, you knew everybody. As you grow, it's a little bit tougher. The other thing I was thinking about: do you share what you're doing with other companies? How you've structured your organization and how you? I mean, it sounds like you get the best out of all your employees. So, are you sharing that information with anybody?
Yes, we're an open book with the industry, and we've been working with a nonprofit called Infrastructure Masons and run the Armed Forces community there, where we give them best practices for setting up training programs, for setting up workforce development. And if anybody wants to copy what we're doing, we're always happy to show them. But it's not just what we're doing as a business. There's needs for cyber technologists. There's needs for op dev people. All kinds of resources are needed in the industry. And if people will look at how we've done this and just emulate that for their particular application, they'll be successful at getting a good training and transition program in place that supports their business. And they'll find out the one thing that I'm hoping we set an example for is you're not doing a veteran a favor, you're competing for that veteran. Everybody's wanting to hire those veterans
Yeah.
these days. And the ROI is there. We've proven it with Salute and how fast we've grown in the last 10 years. People need to hire veterans because the return on investment will help their business grow. Their workforce will be disciplined and be always learning. And to me, that's the perfect combination.
Yeah. Only 1% of our country, I think I'm right, only 1% of our country even serve in the military. And really, when you go out and start talking to people in the civilian market, not a lot of people know stuff about the military. I mean, they think they do, but they don't, which is sort of sad in some ways. Would you share some tips for resources that you think would really be valuable to our transitioning service members and their families? I mean, is there any tips you'd like to give to them?
Start early. If you think you're
Yeah.
getting out in a year, start early, getting ready and getting qualified for what you're wanting to do. Look
Yeah.
around and understand. Look at all the benefit programs like SkillBridge is a great thing to tap into, where you can go out and work with somebody before you're off active duty and determine if you want them and they want you. Follow people like Paul Lawrence, a guy that I very admire because he tries to make sure veterans get all their benefits, and follow people like me as to what's going on if you're interested in this industry, and just learn all you can before you get out so that you're not at the end and you're going through the death by PowerPoint at the tap site and got nothing lined up.
There you go. Well, two things I'm going to tell you real quick. One is we just had Paul Lawrence on our show. We did a series with Paul Lawrence that's going to come out. I'm not sure what's going to come, but we've had him on before. He's an amazing person and
Yes.
really it does a lot to help the veteran community. The second thing I'll tell you is that now, if you got all these veterans in here, I hope I'm going to get a whole bunch of new subscribers to the show that's going to listen to you on the show. Hey, sir, this is great been talking to you. Any final thoughts? Anything we missed that you want to share with the audience?
Just don't ever forget about the military spouses. We always talk veterans, but when I talk veterans, I think that the same word encompasses military spouses. I think there's some hidden gems out there that people don't even realize is there. And you can get people realizing what a return on investment there is. It's a great commercial decision to hire veterans and military spouses.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, is there a website or a phone number that, if somebody wants to contact you and wants to get them employed or whatever, could you give us the website and the phone number?
You bet. It's www.salutemissioncritical.com. And if you miss Salute Mission Critical, look on LinkedIn for Lee Kirby. I accept invites from all veterans and military spouses. So happy to connect with you and give you any tips I can for getting into the industry or transitioning out of the military.
Wait a minute. Are we connected on LinkedIn here, Lee?
We are. We're connected, and I subscribe to your channel too.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. I want you to know that. Hey, sir, thanks a lot for what you're doing for the veteran community. I mean, I don't tell people all the time, but I do tell certain people that there's a lot of people that say thank you to our veterans, but you just don't say thank you. You say thank you, come to work with me. Let's be a team. Let's help our veteran and military families out. And so God bless you for what you're doing. Keep up the good work. And if I can ever help you with anything, please yell at me. Get to me on LinkedIn or something like that.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, thanks a lot, sir. Appreciate it. Thanks to Colonel Retired Lee Kirby for being with us today. What a wonderful officer. What a wonderful person, and what a person that cares so much about our military and making differences and changes that help people so much. So what a great guy. And if you're listening to us, and I hope you are, that you got his website and his number, reach out to him. I'm certainly sure to help. I'm Jack Tilley, 12th Sergeant Major of the Army. You've been listening to Your Next Mission video podcast. And thank you for listening today. Thank you for listening any day, because we want to help our veteran community. Please visit our website at yournextmission.org and leave me a review. A friend of mine told me the other day, I don't care if it's a bad review, it's a review, but please, I like good ones, and bad ones sort of hurt me a little bit, but I can take them. You can also visit our nonprofit partners there who can provide you with so many services that will assist you in your transition from the military. Also, please visit our corporate partners there and see all the jobs that are available. We want to put you to work. We're not just talking, we want to put you to work. Please know we want to assist you any way we can. I'm going to say that again. Please know we, all of us, Colonel Kirby, myself, all of the people that we're working, we want to assist you any way we can. Please follow me on all my personal social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Rumble. And if you enjoyed this discussion, I know that you did, with Colonel Kirby, please like us. Click on that subscribe button below. And also, don't forget, click on the bell next to the subscribe button too. Don't forget, we want to hear from you. Please send me a message or send me a text at 844-424-1134 or send me an email. You'd be surprised I may answer you. SMA@yournextmission.org. Thanks again to Colonel Retired Lee Kirby of Salute Mission Critical for joining us today. It was just great having him on the show. And when you talk to people like Colonel Kirby, I'm going to say there's a lot of people out there like that, but there's people out there that want to help our veteran community. They want to do all they can to help the military families and the spouses and the veterans find employment. Don't never think that you're by yourself. Don't never think that you're alone. If you're struggling a little bit and you need some assistance, people like Colonel Kirby and myself, we'll help you. Just reach out to us. You're not alone. I always tell people we're all part of a family. I'm just not going to give you an allowance, but I'll help you anytime I can. So God bless you. Keep watching us and take care of each other. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks to New Mind Studios and, of course, our presenting sponsors, Navy Federal Credit Union and Purdue University Global. We appreciate all you do for our military. And as always, see you on the high ground. Hooah!
You've been listening to Your Next Mission, brought to you by the American Freedom Foundation. Learn more by visiting yournextmission.org.